Hello, good morning, and welcome to Career Mastered Inside Career Success, the show where I have the opportunity to speak with trailblazing women. I'm Dr. Lisa Wicker, your host for today, and I am delighted to be here with you and so glad that you could join us because we have a special guest today that's going to talk with us about connections. And connections has been our theme for the year as we think about the importance of connections and how they help us leverage not only our careers but our lives. And so today, like all weeks, we talk with fabulous women. And so we're going to talk with Emily Dollberg. And before I bring her forward, I would just like to share with you a little bit more about this show, how we got here, and what we do each week. Career Mastered is not only a magazine platform, but a women's leadership network platform where we honor women across the nation each and every year. And to date, we've honored over 600 women and have given over $60,000 in scholarships to girls who we believe are our next generation of leaders. And with that, we also have men allies that support us, and we have actually honored many of those men as well. We this past month, we just completed the fall Career Master magazine, and on the cover is Lauren Fitzpatrick Shanks. Lauren is an engineer turned entrepreneur who is out of the Arizona area where she has established a company called Keywall. Lauren won the Career Master Top Entrepreneur Women to watch this year and a $2,500 grant from Career Mastered for her business. So we're excited. We can give her a hand on that. And then on top of that, we get to see Lauren in a couple of weeks in Las Vegas, where we will host our Career Mastered Brunch with the Masters. Career Mastered has established ambassadors in various cities. We particularly have an opportunity right now to be in Las Vegas for the first time with our brand, but also our opportunities for women to not only collaborate, to connect, and also learn and grow with one another about their careers. Our ambassador for the Las Vegas Brunch with the Masters is Elissa Mahendra. Alyssa is going to host us there at Lowry's Restaurant, and we're excited. So if you're in the Las Vegas area, you have an opportunity to join us there. You can go to careermaster.com to reserve your seat. We have limited seating. So I ask that you don't wait to the last minute because when the doors are closed, it's closed. But at the end of the day, Lauren is going to meet us there and she'll get to have an opportunity to receive her grant. So we're excited about that. And if you did not pick up the magazine yet, you're in for a treat. So go over and subscribe today digitally because believe it or not, the print copies have sold out because it's that popular for this particular issue. But we have 35 powerful women that are entrepreneurs who have been recognized in this particular magazine for their leadership and all that they're doing in the marketplace. And last but not least, we just finished our Excel Village Girls STEM Power Summit at Macy's in Detroit. Macy's exclusively allows us to come in when the stores close to bring in 60 to 70 girls ages 5th through 12th grade to pour into them for 4 hours on leadership principles and the discipline of science, technology, engineering, and math, and of course, finance, arts, and business. It was a phenomenal success. And if you want to get a sense of what that's about, you can go over to excelvillage.org, pick up hit the link, and you can see the gallery of pictures that are there from the event in Detroit, as well as the event that was held in Charlotte at Macy's South Park in July. Each girl received $50 back to school gift certificates from Macy's to shop. Now, wouldn't you like to have been that girl back when you were a young kid to be able to just go in the store and someone gives you $50 to just pick up something that you desire? So thank you, Macy's, for all that you do. And now let's get into our show. Emily has been patient. I'd like to bring her forward and introduce her formally to you today. Hi, Emily.
Hello.
Thank you for being with us today. I'm excited that we could once again get back together. We had the chance to meet when you received the Career Master Emerging Leader Award, and I believe you attended our brunch with the Masters in Charlotte, where we're at Myers Park Country Club. Am I right?
Yes, it was very fun.
Awesome. Well, let me tell you, it's a pleasure to introduce you as the Business Development Associate at Nova Engineering. Emily has built a career in a field where relationships, collaboration, and strategic partnerships are essential. So, let me give you a little bit of the official resume, if I can, of Emily Dollberg. She's been in architecture, engineering, and construction industry for over 10 years, serving in technical management and business development roles throughout the United States and Canada. Graduating from Virginia Tech in 2014 with a bachelor's in environmental science. I know so well about that because of where I worked, but you have spent most of your career in the environmental sector, showing continuous contribution and advancement, exemplifying leadership qualities in the roles that you've undertaken. And it says that by the age of 28, you had served in both divisional and national program management roles for Fortune 500 clients and employers alike. And that's, my lady, why you were designated as a career master emerging leader.
Thank you.
She's currently a business development at Nova and serves on the membership committee of the Society of Marketing Professional Services in the Charlotte chapter, a member of the Commercial Real Estate Women Crew Charlotte chapter in their mentorship program, and has adopted multiple streams throughout the Charlotte metropolitan area of periodic cleanup events. And I could go on, but welcome to the show, Emily.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad that you could pull away for a moment just to have a conversation with me about the subject of connections. And I've done that in the last couple of sessions with women like yourself to talk about our theme for Career Master is that connections, it starts with her. And because your story is one that I believe is powerful, we're going to start off by just asking you to share a little bit about your professional journey and what led you into business development at Nova. Can you tell us?
Of course. So just a little bit of background. Obviously, thank you again for the introduction. I started my career on the technical side, actually working while I was still attending school, just getting some experience on the consulting side while I was still obviously taking classes and learning how to do the job. So that actually propelled me when I got out of college for a bit more of, professional real world work experience, which landed me my first job in a new state, in a new area I'd never been before, right? Which was very, very daunting, to say the least. So it became abundantly clear very early on during that process that forming connections, even with my coworkers, was essential to kind of take that uncertainty of a new place, new job, new career kind of out of the equation, right? So forming the connections, not even necessarily with the clients, but just the people that I work around with was really, really beneficial. And it also started me on the path of, well, if I should take my, coworkers as forming their connections as in priority, I should definitely do that for our clients as well, which I saw a lot of our coworkers were more focused on getting the job done and not necessarily taking that at a bigger step and a bigger level of seeing how does this impact our relationship and getting more work, right? So there was multiple occasions there while I was learning outside of college that they probably recognized the company I was at the time, but more importantly, they recognized me and they said, hey, I know Emily, she happens to work at this company, right?
Yes.
Which was kind of the beginning of, hey, maybe that does lead into other things. And you get a little bit of my own kind of self-brand recognition there. So from there, I actually, my current husband has got a job in Charlotte. And so we moved to a different state. And again, different situation where didn't know anyone, different, somewhat related career, but starting a little bit fresh. So already had those tools of forming connections and kind of started there. Again, I was managing some teams out in the field, kind of some projects, a bit more of just kind of assigning tasks and being the point of contact for our clients. And from there, I actually started building a relationship with our clients to where they actually recruited me over to the position, right? So that was very, very beneficial. So obviously that was real time seeing how beneficial, again, doing quality work is very important, but not only that, just forming the relationships around the work itself, I saw it was very beneficial. So from there, again, I saw the benefit, and I decided maybe there is just a true career on focusing on just the clients than necessarily always the work itself and being involved with the day-to-day. And it led me to where I am right now. So.
Well, you went to school, as I know, at Virginia Tech and a technical field of study, environmental engineering. Am I right?
Environmental science, but yes.
Environmental science. And so to end up in that type of work, was it something that you expected was going to happen, or did you kind of go through the career centers? I mean, how did you come about the opportunity for getting a degree in that and then finding something in that field? Because people today it doesn't always line up.
Yeah. And there's plenty of people I graduated with that truly didn't, what they thought was going to be the career path, obviously went a hard right, and they couldn't get, opportunities there. I will say, I don't want to say it's a lucky accident, because nothing's necessarily always by luck, right? Some of it is persistence behind it. But I even, I would say as a sophomore in college was already, like you said, going to the career centers, looking at my resumes, getting involved on campus in ways that maybe is not beneficial to what my career is at the moment, but it gave me skills that I knew I needed to learn right then and there. Right. So, I mean, again, it was one of those, I was hopeful to find a job in my career, but I knew, again, you had to put the work in, you had to get the tools and skills, and obviously the portfolio to be able to kind of sell yourself as a product, right? In a way. So, kind of a lucky mix of both, right? Right time, right place, but also everything that led up to it was definitely persistence and hard work.
Well, I got to tell you, I worked in the male-dominated industry of which was the automotive industry.
Oh wow!
And there weren't many people that looked like me from a gender perspective in leadership, and also from a race perspective in certain levels of leadership. And so there were obstacles, and I would imagine that there have been some pivotal moments for you in this professional journey, and some obstacles. And tell me a little bit about maybe how you've handled those, and maybe some that you faced early on, and in the context of connections.
Of connections. Yeah, of course. So I would say with that, I'm no stranger to being likely the only woman on a job site of likely, 300 plus people there, right? So they'll recognize you. You probably don't know who they are, right? It becomes very abundant there. So I think I learned very early on. And again, even, growing up, I was always this person where patience, you just want to be patient and understanding, and maybe it's the situation at the time and they see you and they want to put their kind of frustrations on you in a way, if that makes sense. But you have to take that and be able to just say, okay, this is a job. We're all here for the same purpose. We're all here for the same reason. I have just as much value as the next person next to me. Let's just breathe and talk through the situation. As silly as that sounds, sometimes that's all it takes. It just, we're all here for the same purpose. You could be wearing a purple shirt one day and a blue shirt the next day. None of this should really matter, right? We're all part of the same team. And I know not everyone thinks that way, but I really think that has been one of those over time that has served me well. So.
Right. Have you had other women in the space where you've been able to connect with them and or bring them along, or they've helped you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, especially again, crew, which has been so beneficial, finding your community and network that automatically you feel, I don't want to say necessarily at home, but feel a sense of trust, just knowing that you have a communal understanding of we're all going through it, maybe in a different shape or form, but that's the kind of base level understanding is always kind of very refreshing to be able to go to someone. Maybe they're an architect and they're going through a different, page design for a university or something like that. And I've never done that, but they're going through the same thing of people talking over them, right? Not taking their opinions seriously. And it's refreshing to hear. We're all running through it, but it's also, again, we have a long ways to go
Yeah,
until that's not a problem, right?
that's true. That's true. So what would you tell women that maybe from your generation, because I'm going there because you are emerging and have done well as a young leader. And so for women that may be in your same demographic, what would you tell them about networking and what practical advice you would give them? Because you were nominated for the Career Master Award through an organization that you network with and you belong to. So can you give some advice, maybe one or two or three practical advice tips for women that are
Yeah,
in your generation?
of course. I will admit it's probably a little contradictory. It may not seem important to grow your network at all times. Sometimes, especially getting bogged down with the day to day of what, invoice do I need to send out? Or, this is what I need to do. And kind of the tasks, that seems like something, again, prior, it's been one of those, yeah, I will get to it. I will get to it. But there's never a time where you shouldn't grow your network, if that makes sense. You should always be growing it. And, maybe the benefit is not abundantly clear to you right then and there, but my connections over time have come up in ways of just thinking about you, just thinking about Emily and associating a service or knowing and liking you has come back tenfold, right? So that is always something beneficial. And you might not always be in the same position you're in, right? So what may be a connection from 3 years ago that you occasionally keep in contact with could be your coworker the next day, right?
Yeah.
So you really never know what's going to come from, and just continue to work away at it. You might not have it as a full-time job, but just maintain and have even just a close network can do wonders for you professionally and personally too. So
Yeah, I often the cliche was often told to me as I was coming through my career is that network, your network is your net worth.
mm-hmm.
I think everybody gets that. But what I heard recently, and I love from Jessica Winder, who's going to be one of our speakers in Las Vegas, she added to that and said, so your network is your currency. And how are you spending your
1,000%.
currency today? Or how
Mm-hmm.
are you investing in your currency? And so I love that metaphor because it is an investment and it is currency. And that's really how you're going to have the net worth
Of
is
course.
understanding how you're spending it. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can't spend it in a place where you're not having a return on the investment or you're not having reciprocity in that investment because
Mm-hmm.
networking is not just necessarily what you're getting out of it,
A
but
little give and take.
it's
Yeah.
also what you're giving. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you
Absolutely.
think about that?
I think that's absolutely true. It's just like your time. It's valuable, and obviously I will say some connections may not seem valuable, but it could be that they know the person that you're trying to get to,
Right.
right? And that's not always the intent that I am trying to give off is just who can I get to try kind of climb the ladder or anything like that. It's just more of I approach it as building your network, even if you're not going to walk away with a bunch of projects in your hand, you still met someone, right?
Yeah.
You still have someone that you can go up to and form a connection with that you feel a bit more comfortable with versus, maybe you walk into a room, you don't know a single person there, right?
Right.
But having
Right.
one connection can do wonders.
Oh,
So
absolutely. It's like the starfish story, right? I don't know if you know that story, but it's the starfish, and I won't go into that, but look it up. It's a really good story. And for those that are with us here, look up the starfish story. It really is about the one. It doesn't have to be about the thousands because can you make a difference with the one? And
right.
9 times out of 10, it only takes one person to be the differentiator between you and the next level, right?
1,000%.
So we'll go for that. Let's talk about leadership for a moment. Right now, you're a business development associate. And as you're continuing to look up the ladder, for where you want to go, um, how are you looking at leadership from your lenses, especially as a young entrepreneur, as a young professional?
Mhm.
What does it mean to you, number one? And number two, have you learned some? I got three questions in this. One,
Yeah.
what does it mean to you? Number two is, have you learned what good leadership looks like? And then have you learned what not so good leadership looks like, and how you'll be when you decide that that's a role that you want to play?
I think we've all had bad managers. I think we can all admit that, right? Whether they're ones that just, hey, they're here clearly pulling a paycheck and they don't care about their people, they don't care about the work, right? We've all in some way, shape, or form run into those people. So
Yes.
I don't want to base my leadership example just based on I don't want to do this, right? I've
Yes.
seen this. I don't want to see this happen. There's also plenty that I've had that I want to emulate, right? They're the ones that when things go wrong, you look to them, right? Who are the people in the room looking to? Who are the ones that are not necessarily the loudest, but who are listening and who are taking feedback from their people and using it in a constructive way for the team versus saying,
Mhm.
this is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to do. Now, granted, there's always a time and place, right? Where sometimes the boss has to make the decisions, right? And you got to go forward and you got to, that's why they're in their position. But, looking to that person, hearing what they have to say, hear how they interact with people and they approach tough situations. Usually when I'm in a tougher situation or amongst people that are, maybe the client is unhappy because of a miscommunication, something like that, right? Looking to them and see how they approach the situation is really how I emulate, what I want to be as a leader, right? And someone who has a bit of emotional intelligence to not only see that we need to get the project done and need to benefit the company, but at the end of the day, we're all people, right? Maybe we have hardships going on that are affecting our work, but coming to them on a personal level and saying, how are you doing?
Mhm.
Project
Mhm.
aside, that's someone I want to be, is approachable, that you can look up to and really understand that, at the end of the day, they're in that position for a reason and you should look up to them, not necessarily, be disgruntled that they are your boss, if that makes
Yes.
sense. So
Yes. 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 In your current role, are you leading or individual contributor right now?
So more of it's kind of a mix, right?
Okay.
So I don't have any subordinates in my current role right now. Obviously, I have managers,
Yeah.
but I think it's more currently managing, I'd like to say, the program itself of business development,
Okay.
right? So
Uh-huh.
more of the program, necessarily the people, but with that, it's, even though they're not reporting to me, I'm not reporting to them, it is still that level of, you guys are doing the work. Tell
Yeah.
me what you think,
Yeah.
right? At the end of the day, I'm giving you the opportunity and passing it off. Can you guys do this? Let's have an open conversation. So
Yeah.
I
Let's
think,
talk to me a little bit about, interestingly enough, you are environmental science by education, and
mhm.
you probably could go down the path of more technical engineering kind of roles. And today you're playing the role of business developer. What can you tell someone that may have an interest in that kind of job? I mean, a lot of people may not even know what business development is. Tell us a little bit
Right.
about what it is, and if someone's looking for that type of position, what do they experience?
What are they looking for? So there's kind of a thought process that I had very early on, right? Especially in the technical field that I was coming from, of there's a couple routes, a couple different sectors, right? You can work for public entities, right? You can work for, big Fortune 500 companies, right? Or you can work for small firms or everything in between, right? Where there was kind of a branch, I thought, as I saw my career moving forward, is, do I want to be the smartest person in the room or do I want to help the smartest person in the room, right? And um I realized, I mean, again, I know there's always some big egos in our industry. I don't think I have one of them, and I realized pretty early on, I don't necessarily need to be the smartest person in the room. I don't need to be the most technically competent. I like doing the projects. I
Yeah.
like talking to the people. I like getting that, I always say, warm and fuzzies of seeing something you brought in to the very end and knowing that you did that. That felt very good. So I started moving a bit more to the management and actual kind of like project side of things versus being the technical expert. And then again, with that was, well, I realized, as silly as it sounds, not everyone can talk to people, right? There's plenty of people, especially in the science and engineering field, that I always say are not client facing,
Yeah.
right? They're the experts. They're the smartest person probably sitting in that conference room, but man, are they going to tell you their opinion, even if it makes everyone else mad in the room, right? So some of those kind of soft skills, those social skills that you may think are inherent to everyone are not necessarily inherent to everyone.
That's true.
Oh, and it becomes very abundantly clear the more as time progressed that, hey, why don't you just pick up the phone and talk to the client and explain it, and it turns into a whole thing. And, it really opened my eyes to the fact that maybe I can do this full time with the knowledge I have and, be successful, get to the next level that I really didn't think was possible. I thought I was just going to be in the field day in, day out, and that's where I'm going to be. And I'm definitely not right now. So
no, and I think it's a good success story, especially as you are in early part of your career success. And I often say that mastering your career is an evolution. It's like, you don't just get it done. You're always evolving to master both your life and career.
Oh, 1,000%.
And I think you're doing a great job. So if you were to, we have about 4 minutes here. If you were to leave some advice for women who are maybe at your level, or even those that may be in a space where they're uncertain, an advice of how they can master their career.
So I try to, not necessarily every single day, but try to look at what do you see yourself doing, even not necessarily 5 years in the future, but what do you still see yourself doing in 2 to 3 years in the future, right? What does that look like?
Yeah.
Is there any advancement? Is it in the job you're in right now? And trying to form that kind of path of what does that look like? And again, like you said, it's going to evolve. What may have been your plan of where I'm going to be today, it was totally different than what it was 10 years ago, right? Sure. And saying that you did something different than what you started off of is not necessarily a failure or any kind of thing like that. I originally thought, hey, I'm doing something different. I went to school for XYZ. I wanted to do water research, and here I am on a construction job site. What am I doing? But then I realized over time, like, I like this. I get to interact with more people. I actually enjoy doing this. I'm learning things that I didn't think were relevant. So having the patience and confidence to go for it and just plan. Kind of plan your plan and evolve it. But I'm definitely a planner of just looking to the future and adjusting and seeing what it takes to get there, I think would be very beneficial.
And I think your message is patience has to be there. And with a plan, it's not just going to happen like just it fall out of the sky.
Nope.
It really has to be intentional. And with that intentionality and a plan and patience, your plan will probably evolve.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being with us today. I really appreciate your time, and congratulations on all that you're doing. Congratulations on being one of our emerging leaders for Career Masters this year. It's a national designation. I will continue to watch and your star rise, and we appreciate your stopping by today.
All right. Thank you again for having me.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And bye now. Thank you, Emily. Let's give her a hand for being with us today, but more importantly, the messages that she gave, that we all are evolving, that we all have an opportunity to get to that there, but it really takes an intentional plan. It takes patience, and it also takes understanding that it's not going to happen overnight. She's doing extremely well in her career as she begins to make that star of hers rise. And so if you want to get in contact with her, Emily Dollberg is her name. I'm sure you can go over to LinkedIn and catch her there. In the meantime, I just want to share with you once again that Career Masters excited that our fall magazine is out on the website, careermaster.com. You can go there and pick up a copy today. We're going to Las Vegas on October the 16th. We're going to have a conversation with powerful women in the marketplace of Las Vegas about connections and making sure that we have impact in the marketplace. The top entrepreneur women to watch. We're still celebrating these women throughout the year. You'll hear more about a celebration coming up for the Charlotte area. And we just want to thank you and ask that you touch bases with us as we plan for the annual conference for 2026. Announcements will be coming shortly on the nominations for the Leadership in Action Award class of 2026. There's always something here. So be sure to follow us on LinkedIn, absolutely on Instagram, and on Facebook. Until next time, I wish you well.